Hey everyone, this is just going to be a quick video. This is Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Borg, and this is going to be a quick video looking up against the Phillies matchup tonight against the Atlanta Braves. And that is a very good matchup tonight. We're trying to split the series with the Braves. We got Sean Newcomb, who we should be able to hit. The problem for the Phillies is keyword should be able to hit. They don't always hit people they should be able to hit. And we have Aaron Nola going up against him. So that matchup should heavily favor us. We had Spencer Howard coming to his debut yesterday. I read an article that I love reading. This guy, Todd Zalecki's obviously amazing, but apparently Vinny Velo might get the start again on Friday. I understand he got through innings in the game, but he left pitches right down the center of the plate, and they just got away with he just got away with it in that game. Velasquez is nothing special in the starting rotation. And reading that article earlier that maybe they use Howard out of the pen, because they need bullpen help. That should be Vince Velasquez. Velasquez has not shown he's that quality of a starter. He should be put in the bullpen at this point, and Spencer Howard is part of your future. If you're trying to develop this kid, you don't want to keep putting him in a pen in a role he's not familiar in. Yeah, he said, whatever they need, I'm up for it. It would be a little adjustment, but I'm sure it's nothing too crazy. Well, we adjusted people and moved them out of the bullpen before. It is just not the right thing to do to put Spencer Howard in the bullpen if he's trying to be your top pitcher and you're trying to develop him into a three-headed horse with Wheeler, Nola, and him. And then you have Arrieta pitching good this year too, and Eflin went out and pitched good in his first start. Howard had good movement on his pitches. He made Acuna in that one, or not Acuna, Zuna in two at-bats, look terrible on sliders. Acuna hit a great pitch out. He hit a pitch that they were surprised in the broadcast it even went out. And then Freeman even said, quote, on Spencer Howard, I like his stuff. I think he was a little excited. His off-speed pitches were up in the zone. You could tell he's got really good stuff. It's hard to judge anybody off of their big league debut because he was so fired up. So Freddie Freeman, who's one of the best hitters in all of baseball, even credited Spencer Howard, who hit that the other way, just had a great pitch and was able to poke it the other way. So that's enough on Spencer Howard, but I'm just saying do not move him to the bullpen. That's a stupid idea. If you want to move anybody to the bullpen, that should have been already, but it should be again now because he got through and he tightrope through it and got through leaving pitches over that the Braves just missed in that first game. It should be Vince Velasquez. But tonight's game, as we preview it, the lineups are interesting tonight for the Phillies, of course. We have Phil Gosselin leading off against Sean Newcomb, who has been killing it all year this year. And Girardi gave him the leadoff spot tonight. So that means Girardi's going to have to keep him in the game because there's been a lot of times Gosselin's led off, then came out after an at-bat. You would think if you're giving someone the leadoff spot, that's not a spot in the lineup you want to pinch hit for too much in a game. It kind of throws things off. And he's subbed him out of games a lot this year, so you cannot do that in this game if he's in the leadoff spot, unless if it's obvious that someone should be put in like an Adam Hazley or something like that, maybe, who's also hitting well in a certain situation. That is the only time you should do that. Now, the Braves lineup, I'll run through it before I run through our whole lineup, is Ronald Acuna Jr., Dansby Swanson, Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna at DH, Darno at catcher, Markakis in right, Duvall in left, Riley at third, and Camargo at second. Since we have the right-hander, they're putting Yohan Camargo, who's a neat little player there that does good against ups sometimes, so we have to make sure we limit him. And then ours is the Goose is Loose, Gosselin leading off, Rhys Hoskins at first, Bryce Harper at right field, JT again in the cleanup spot. And then you have Didi Gregorius at 5, Gene Segura at 6, Jay Bruce at 7, Kingery at 8, and Roman Quinn at 9. Quinn's in, obviously, because of the lefty. I think eventually you're going to have to get Hazley at bats against lefties, and I think we will see that. It depends when it's going to be, but we're going to have to see that because you're going to have to get Hazley at bats against lefties. And I think he's a guy that's starting to show he probably should get that. Quinn looks decent, but his fielding's not the greatest. Yes, he catches balls, but if you actually look at him, he judges them late and he uses his speed to make it up. We talked about that. Check it out, Chasing the Pennant podcast with the Always Next Year podcast network. We talked about that in that podcast yesterday. His fielding's not that great. He makes up for it with speed, where Hazley's fielding is great and even better than I think scouts thought it would be. Shane talked about that in the Chasing the Pennant yesterday. But I do not think Rhys Hoskins should be hitting second. He's not a two-hole hitter. He needs to be fifth or sixth, and he needs to be in an RBI spot because it gets him out of that mindset of let me look at a pitch right down the middle just to work at the count. Or you hope it does at least. I mean, if that doesn't work, then like Andrew also said on Chasing the Pennant yesterday, you're just going to have to take him out of the lineup. If that doesn't work, putting him in a spot that's more of an RBI spot, the player he plays to, then eventually you're just going to have to remove him. JT's working in the cleanup spot, albeit he's not really a cleanup hitter, but he is working. So, yeah, leave him there for now. That's fine, I guess. Harper is fine in the 3 spot. Gosselin's obviously not a prototypical leadoff hitter, but because against lefties, McCutcheon's been struggling this year, who's not even in this lineup tonight. They actually put Bruce in against the lefty who's looked solid, so that's interesting. I'm assuming he might have decent numbers against Newcomb, where I think Girardi just likes how Bruce has had the ability to go the other way as one of our hitters that has done that early, even on an inside pitch. So I think that's a wise decision by Joe there to give Kutch a night off and trying to let him clear his head. I'm surprised he didn't do the same thing and just put Gosselin maybe at second or maybe DH Kingery instead of putting him in the field so he could focus on just one thing, because he's obviously looked okay in the field where he needs to get his hitting back, where it would probably have made sense because Gosselin's hitting the cover off of the ball. He's not the best fielder, but he played fine when we put him in. Just throw him at second, let Kingery clear his head and just completely focus on hitting if you want to get his hitting back. But that hasn't been the case yet. I think eventually we will see that. But Girardi's, I don't want to jump on him early, but some of his decision-making has, let's just say, been questionable early in the season so far, especially when it comes to managing our heinous bullpen. Vinny did not have control. He battled through it with the Braves. He looked good some innings with his cutter coming in on guys, but he left pitches right down the plate, and they got away with some stuff in that first game. But even then, our bullpen stinks. So at 76 pitches after they get a hit in the top of the inning, I would have just left him in and tried to get that next out, then took Velasquez out, because what confidence do you have in anybody? Like Velasquez isn't even, I just said he should be in the bullpen. So the fact that I'm saying I think that they should have left him in as a starter over a bullpen spells how bad our bullpen is, because I think Velasquez should be a bullpen pitcher. He's not that great of a starter, but that just shows how bad our bullpen is with Diolis Guerra, Trevor Kelly seeming like they're some of our top-notch guys to pick out of there for middle relief when both of them have that terrible stats in their major league careers. So they need to figure something out there. But tonight, I believe we should be able to get this series split. We got Knowles going. It's a little bit of a warmer night out there. Nola usually pitches really good in the warm weather. So I really like our chances tonight with Aaron Nola on the bump. I think also we're going to see against Newcomb, Kingery get a few better swings on the ball and look a little bit better. I feel like that's a guy that might even leave his breaking ball up for Scotty so he can rip a double or something like that, because Newcomb does like to throw his breaking ball, and that might help to get Kingery going. Just like I hope and believe yesterday's game got Hoskins going, who ripped the double and went like this with the arms in the air when he even got that infield single, because that just shows the emotions of how everybody gets into it. And sometimes you just need that hit to get going, and it really just goes, oh my God, now I can feel it again. I know where I'm doing. I have some confidence again. So I think that's what got going for him. Diddy knows how to hit lefties. He's going to keep doing his thing. JT's JT. He's a beast. And Phil the Goose's Loose Gosselin is going to have a good game at the leadoff spot. So I think the Phillies are going to get it done tonight. I think they're going to get this win. This has been a quick preview video for the Phillies versus the Braves. I believe the Phillies are going to get that win tonight. Ring the bell. Let's go Phillies. Peace out, everybody.